I used to be absolutely terrified of picking up my phone and making those calls that I need to get my customers in. But today I want to share 5 habits that helped me to overcome my fears and actually take steps to improve my business, get to the point where I'm less scared of making those sales calls, marketing, and creating videos. I want to share the habits that helped me that will hopefully help you to overcome the same fears and improve your life and your business. Number 1 is a fear of judgment. And I think every single person watching can relate to that. Whether it's fear of judgment, trying to put yourself on the social media to market your business, recording the videos and talking to the camera, or even going to the gym and actually thinking that everyone will look at you and every single person will judge you. So this is the fear that I believe every single individual has, because I spoke with so many people. That varies from business owners to people who want to improve their health. Every single one of us is scared of being judged whatever we do. And there's few things that actually killed my fear of judgment. So number 1 is something that Chris Williamson said on his podcast. Now imagine if everyone is watching you, like literally every single person, everything you do. This sounds scary, like you feel like you're being judged, but take another perspective. Imagine that you're watching a movie. So in that movie, you are the main character, you are the hero, you are building your own story. So even if everyone's watching, that can be used as fuel. So you would think, what would be the most obvious moment in your movie? Where, when you're watching some melodrama or some action movie, oh, there's a killer hiding behind, run, or there's that lady that's really interested in you, but you kind of don't understand because it's a movie and you're not taking action. So think about it same way, that you are the main character. You are like the Iron Man in Marvel Iron Man series, where everyone's watching you and you're developing your own character. And that's not a bad thing, because that will fuel you to make some better decisions. And second thing completely contradicts the first one. That's why it's extremely funny for me. So what you have to realize, that no one really cares about what you do, because everyone's busy thinking what are they doing and how everyone's watching them. So everyone's locked in the same mindset. No one's really fixated on what you do and no one's judging you. Another thing, like, if they do, does it matter? It's a simple thing. If you don't want to live a life of the person that's judging you, their opinion is not important. And even with the judgment, if we come and you think about all the people that you have around you, I'm pretty much sure, like, my girlfriend is the single most important person in my life, because I don't have any more family left, really. She's not really watching those videos. So in that case, like, she cannot even judge me what I'm doing in front of the camera, because she's not even watching those videos. And same applies to your brother, sister, mom, father. No one's really watching your content if you're creating content. So there's nothing to be scared of in terms of judgment. But people will only notice by the time you start succeeding doing those things. While you're just in the process, no one will really notice you. Don't worry about fear of judgment, and don't let that demotivate you. That if no one's watching, it doesn't mean that it's not important, because it's important to you, so do that. Number 2, face hard conversations. Now, we will be having hard conversations with people, and that idea comes from Alex Hormozy, because I pick up a lot of those ideas from more successful entrepreneurs. What do I mean by hard conversations? So, for example, I was working with someone and things don't go as planned, but things go fairly well. So I could stay within that comfort zone working with that person and actually get paid and not make myself stand out. But at some point I was like, look, I'm doing so much in your business. I need to get myself into business and help to create a separate kind of niche on the business, because otherwise I don't see my future. And that conversation was roughly 3 years ago. So by having that conversation, it made me realize that this is not the person that I'll be working with in the future. And that was very hard, because it basically led me to having 50% less income and working in a studio that's rent-free versus going to the studio that I have to pay rent, because that's the way we worked with that person. And it was an amazing journey, but that conversation was very uncomfortable and very hard, and it resulted in me losing money. But in the long run, here we are. Here's me now talking in front of the camera in my own personal training studio. So that hard conversation was a good step. And same comes with your partner and relationships. Like, I regularly have challenging conversations with my girlfriend to make sure that we are on board with our values and what we are trying to achieve. Because yes, it's stressful and it's not arguing, it's just having a conversation. There's a massive difference in between that. So by having that conversation and putting things into perspective for both of us and our future, we are on board on what we're doing. So our challenge is walking the dogs, because we have two big dogs and it creates a lot of stress because I'm so busy, I cannot really help my girlfriend as much because I was less busy when we got those dogs. And that leads to a lot of frustration on her side. But we're having the conversation. This is just a stage of life where I am building the business and it will get easier. So these conversations are not comfortable, but you have to have them to understand your values and put things into perspective and understanding where you want to go. That can be hard conversations with friends that you can tell them you don't want to spend time with them because your priorities and your values has changed. Unfortunately, that's life. That can be conversations with your spouse, girlfriend, and your business partner. You will get things cleared and you can move on and take next steps rather than waiting for that grenade to explode and eventually shit will hit the fan anyways. Habit number 3, make yourself less available for people, especially like it will sound bad because I think we're a bit in the friendship crisis in in the Western world. People don't seem to have as many friends, but to be honest, make yourself less available for your friends and relatives. If you are working on your health and fitness or you're working on developing the business, there's only so much you can do in 24 hours. Like I personally, I would like to have 36 hours in a day because there's so many things that I would like to do, but one day is not enough and something has to give. For me personally, I love mountain biking with my best friend and now I simply cannot make that time for him. Of course, schedules get in the way and everything, but as much as I like spending time with him, I am a lot less available and we only been riding our bikes like once in the last 8 or 9 months. But I'm in the stage of life where I'm building a business, and if it's a true friend, it might be a year, 2 years later, you will catch up with them and you will have a good relationship because they will understand that you're going through a certain stage in your life. And same applies to your relatives. I know some people like to spend time with their families every weekend, but if you are building a business, it may not happen as much and you have to prioritize because like I said before, you're a hero of your own story and helping family is a great thing, but sometimes by helping everyone else, you're not helping yourself. And if it comes to health and fitness, most of the time social gatherings involve a lot of food and alcohol. So if you want to lose weight, but then you end up drinking every weekend with your family, it's a little bit contradicting with your own goals. So you have to make certain priorities and you have to have those hard conversations and making yourself a lot less available if it doesn't suit the goals that you're planning to achieve. Number 4 is the hardest one, like showing up consistently. Doesn't matter if you're not in the mood, if you're low on sleep, if you don't feel like doing it, if you don't have energy, none of that shit matters. You have to show up for yourself. If we take health and fitness, I will speak about my client. She has chronic fatigue, but yesterday she still came in for the session. She did probably half of the work that she normally would, but she still showed up and she still done the work. She engaged socially with other clients and things like that. So regardless of her feeling of low energy and chronic fatigue that she has, she's still actually made to the gym, which is absolutely amazing. That's her prioritizing her goals and showing up consistently for herself. Now, taking myself as an example, speaking in front of the camera, despite what it looks like, it's very uncomfortable thing for me to do. So I would tinker and try to level the camera before I even speak in front of that. But at some point you realize you just have to press the record button and do it. So the more I do it, the better I'll become at it, the more comfortable it will be to show up and speak in front of camera and deliver value to you guys watching. Same thing applies in the business. I have to show up, pick up that phone, and make that call to make sure that I'm getting clients into my business. So you have to show up consistently for yourself. Number 5, you always have to keep learning. Nothing is set in stone in our lives. Our life is constantly moving. A year from now, if we go a year back from now, the way I would be running a business would be fundamentally different because there was not as many AI tools available as it is now. So technology is constantly progressing, and if you're running the business, you have to keep up with that, because if you don't, eventually you'll be out of business. The best example is, for me, is social media. Now, every entrepreneur has to do social media because that's where people are spending their time. If your clients are spending time on social media, that's why you need to be present. And any business that, let's say, if a gym opens next to me and they are not doing social media while I'm available on YouTube, Instagram, and things like that, they will not get the same amount of business as I do, because I'm trying to learn and market myself better, learn how to use social media by marketing. So that's just like a very kind of obvious example of what happened in business in the last few years. Social media becomes a massive part of that, and people who are not doing it, they will have less business because they will be standing out less. So you have to learn how to use social media for your advantage. Now, when it comes to fitness, you can also learn new things all the time. I mean, I've been doing some form of training and sports last 26 years, basically. And there's always something new to learn. There's always some new research that comes out. The old fundamentals still work, but new research comes out. There's new kind of evidence that we have about certain things. So we can learn as fitness professionals, we can learn and make better decisions, and we can guide our clients better when we learn more about, well, health and fitness, basically. Or maybe there's a new way to implement habits. I mean, now there is Ozempic. I'm not entirely against it. I think if I could partner with someone, I would include that in my programs as an upsell, because I think that will fundamentally change how we lose weight as people. You need to learn how to use new tools that are coming in. To simplify everything I spoke about is that you just have to do things regardless of what everyone thinks about you, regardless how you feel, regardless how uncomfortable it is. So at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is you taking action regardless of everything else that's going around you. And if you have like goals and you clearly visualize them, you need to take certain steps, and they will be uncomfortable. You will not want to do them. You will have to have some hard conversations with people. Sometimes people will not like you. You will have to give up on some things that you enjoy. But in that process, you will develop a character. You will learn how to be more successful with your life. And eventually, once you go through that, you will find yourself being a lot happier. Because, again, putting myself as an example, maybe a year or 2 years ago, I wouldn't like to do any of the things that I do now that it comes to business, because I don't feel like I'm a natural business person or entrepreneur. But now I know what's going on more or less, so I feel a lot more comfortable doing that. But to get there, I had to build up those 5 habits that I'm talking about now. If you found this video helpful, YouTube thinks that you'll find this one helpful. And let me know down in the comments which habit you think it would be the most beneficial for you as an individual. See you in the next one.